Yes? Okay, then I'm going to call to order the Monday, June 2nd, 2025 meeting of the Lake Zurich Village Board. Clerk Johnson, please call the roll.
Mayor Poynton,
Here.
Trustee Marks,
Here.
Trustee Spicone,
Present.
Trustee Chagru,
Here.
Trustee Wider,
Present.
Trustee Barajwa, and Trustee Riley are absent and excused.
Okay, we have a quorum. Would you please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We got that. Okay. Raj, anybody signed in for public comment? Okay. This next item on the agenda is public comment. Public comment is an opportunity for residents to comment briefly on matters included on the agenda and otherwise of interest to the Board of Trustees. Public comment is limited to 30 minutes in total and 5 minutes per speaker. We will take public comments first from the sign-in sheet list in the order in which folks signed in. When you step to the podium, please speak clearly into the mic. Identify yourself with your name and address for the record, and please direct your comments to the board. Since there's nobody on the list, I'm going to offer public comment to the people that are in the audience. Any public comment? Nope. Okie dokie. Then we will close public comments and move on to the president's report. We have one item on the president's report, and that is a proclamation declaring June 6th, 2025 to be National Gun Violence Awareness Day and June 2025 to be Gun Violence Awareness Month. In this proclamation, Lake Zurich renews its commitment to reduce gun violence and pledges to do all we can to keep firearms out of the wrong hands, and that it encourages responsible gun ownership to help keep our children safe. It also declares June 2025 to be Gun Violence Awareness Month, and declares that we must all do more to prevent children from having access to deadly weapons in their homes. The full text of this proclamation can be seen on the Village website. That's the end of the President's report, and I'll move on to the consent agenda. The titles on the consent agenda will be read by the clerk and approved by a single roll call vote. Any item may be pulled from the consent agenda for discussion or a separate vote by any member of the board. Clerk Johnson, would you please read the titles?
6A, minutes of the Village Board meeting of May 19th, 2025. 6B, approval of executive session minutes from the Village Board meeting of April 7th, 2025. 6C, approval of semi-monthly warrant register dated June 2nd, 2025, totaling $2,161,141.67. 6D, ordinance granting a variation for a front porch at 17 Lake Street, assigned ordinance 2025-06-612. 6E, ordinance granting a variation for an outside stairway at 287 Sunrise Lane, assigned ordinance 2025-06-613. 6F, agreement with Chicagoland Paving for the 2025 patching program in the agreement not to exceed $150,000. 6G, agreement with Pipe View America for extension of the 2025 sanitary storm suit televising contract in the amount not to exceed $100,000. 6H, agreement with Lane Christensen Company to repair well number 8 in the amount not to exceed $119,675. 6I, ordinance amending chapters of Title 8 of the Lake Zurich Municipal Code, assigned ordinance 2025-06-614. And 6J, agreement with Patriot Pavement Maintenance for the 2025 crack sealing program in the amount not to exceed $60,000.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any board questions, or is discussion desired, excuse me, on any item, or would anyone like to have any item pulled for a separate discussion and vote?
I just have a question about item H.
Okay,
And
Mark
it's
Spicone.
just a question of, is this one of the wells that will end up shutting down once we make the switch over in a year and a half or so?
It is not. No, this is a well 8 and well 12 we will be keeping.
Okay, so my next question is, knowing the infrastructure we have in there and the money that we're committing here just to do the inspection, right, with Lane Christensen, is there a possibility at some point where we look at using different pumping equipment that might make it so that we're not tied to a sole source vendor and we're stuck with only what they tell us it costs?
Potentially, yes, in the future, but to get through this, we need to use them as a sole provider
Right.
for the warranties and guarantees.
I get the short term, but long term, it might be time to start thinking about if that's one we're gonna keep. How do we provide the village or future boards some flexibility with that well, so it's not always stuck with one vendor and being tied to what they'll charge us regardless?
And hoping we don't have these types of costs because they'll be dormant
Right.
once we have the switch over to Lake Michigan water in the future.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, anybody else? Nope. Okay, then I would make a motion, and I need a second to approve the consent agenda as presented. So I'll make the motion, and I need a second.
Second, Marks.
Marks? Kathleen, please call the roll.
Trustee Marks?
Aye.
Trustee Spicone?
Aye.
Trustee Chagru?
Aye.
Trustee Weider?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to new business, there is none at this point, so I'll move on to trustee reports. Anybody have a trustee report tonight? Nope. Village staff reports. Anybody got a staff report? Anybody? No? Okey dokey. Okay, well then that concludes our regular business for tonight. We will be adjourning to executive session called for the purpose of 5 ILCS 120/2C21, review of executive session minutes, 5 ILCS 120/2C5, purchase or lease of real estate, and 5 ILCS 120/2C, 6, setting price for sale or lease of real estate. There will be no voting action or board discussion after closed session, so the adjournment of closed session will be the final adjournment and the end of the meeting. So, may I have a motion and a second to adjourn tonight's regular meeting to executive session? Motion first,
So moved, Spicone.
Second,
Mark?
Marks.
and Jake. Kathleen, please call the roll.
Trustee Chagru?
Aye.
Trustee Weider?
Aye.
Trustee Marks?
Aye.
Trustee Spicone?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, that carries. That is the end of our business tonight. The next scheduled regular board meeting will be on June 16th. Short meeting tonight, so thanks for watching. Stay safe and healthy.